G'day, welcome back to the channel. My apologies for another talking head video. Low production values here, but the airfield is closed today for drag racing, so no flying today. Anyway, I want to talk about the rules in the USA. The FAA administer those rules, and basically they have said that you can't fly recreationally, except, as it says here, accepted as in subsection E of the notwithstanding chapter 447 of Title 49 US States Code. It says a person may operate a small unmanned aircraft without specific certification or operating authority from the FAA if the operation adheres to all of the following limitations. So these are the things in place at the moment. If you want to fly without having to get special certification or under 107 or whatever, if you want to fly recreationally, then the aircraft must be flown for recreational purposes, obviously, but this is the really important one. The aircraft must be operated in accordance with or within the programming of a community-based organisation's set of safety guidelines, which are developed in coordination with the Federal Aviation Administration. Now, to date, they haven't really enforced that because they didn't have any CBOs in the USA, but now we have the AMA has been designated a CBO. So if you want to fly recreationally, you have to fly within their set of safety guidelines. You must use their, because there's no other CBOs. The AMA's rules are the only ones that you can use to justify flying recreationally. So if you want to fly recreationally, it's the AMA's way or not at all. Now, that's interesting. I went to the FAA website to get some more information on this. So here we go, Federal Aviation Administration. Now, you know, one of the things about safety and about administration is you've got to pay attention to details, right? It's the little things that cause problems. The little things can cost lives. So I thought, Federal Aviation Administration website, funded by the taxpayer, what could go wrong? And I thought, well, let's go and let's find out this Section 49. I want to know more about Section 49. And this says, this is the exception for limited recreational operations of unmanned aircraft. It says Section 49 USC 44809 allows flying drones without complying with Part 107. Flying under this section requires flying only for recreational purposes and in compliance with all limitations listed in 44809A. So I thought, let's have a look at 44809. So I thought I'll click on this link. And as I said, it's all about the... Oh, no. What are they doing at the FAA? I mean, it's obviously not paying attention to details. They want us to pay attention to details. We have to check every box, make sure everything is done right. But do as we say, not as we do. Page not found. This is from a link on their own website, and they don't even keep their website. No one's checking this stuff. We've got to check everything. They don't have to check a thing because they're the FAA. Oh my God. Anyway, so the bottom line is that the AMA is the only CBO, so you have to fly within their guidelines, their programming. And so here it is, operating within AMA's CBO programming, and this is the safety handbook. So this safety handbook here, this is the thing you have to operate within if you want to fly recreationally. No exceptions. There is no other way to fly recreationally other than following the safety handbook of the CBO, because it's the only CBO. So let's have a look at that safety handbook. Here it is, and here are the bits that, I'll go up the top so you can see. Let's go right back up to the top so you can see AMA Member Safety Program Handbook. So these are the guidelines you must operate under if you want to legally fly recreational in the USA. So let's go down because I want to have a look at drones because most people are interested in drones. Where are we? Somewhere down here. It should tell us. I might have gone past it, or have I? Here we go. FPV operation. This is guidance for FPV operation. Now, FPV racing. FPV racing. So this is what you need to look at if you are going to race a drone. Okay, so let's say you're out with your mates, you're flying around, doing a bit of freestyle with your 6S drone, and you think, hey, let's have a bit of a race around the building, or let's have a bit of a race from point to point. I'm sorry, but you may be breaking the law. If you do that, you may be breaking the regulations and subject to penalty if you decide to race your 6S drone. And you might say, why is that? Racing isn't illegal, is it? Well, let's take a look at the AMA's FPV racing recommendations. And these recommendations are binding if you want to fly recreationally and you want to race a drone recreationally. So here it is, the Academy of Model Aeronautics FPV Multi-Rotor Club Sport Racing recommendations. These are binding on you if you want to race a quadcopter, race a drone. And the really important thing is right down the bottom. Let's just whiz down there. Here we go. If you have a 6S drone and you're want to race with your mates, you cannot do it because according to this, the maximum battery size is limited to 4S LiPo or LiFi packs. That's it. You cannot race. Legally, you cannot race a 5S or a 6S drone in the USA without breaking the regulations. Because the AMA have said maximum battery size is 4S. And under the rules, you must follow the AMA as the only CBO. You must follow their guidelines. This is their guideline. You may not race a 5S or a 6S quadcopter in the USA unless you're doing it under Part 107. You can't do it recreationally. Seriously? This is good regulation? Thank you, AMA, for basically making it illegal for people to race a 6S or a 5S quad. Thank you so much for helping the hobby in this way. I don't know. This is what you call perhaps unintended consequences, but it shows the complete shambles that we've got in the USA with regulations because it's so complex, it's so stupid, it's multi-level, and the FAA has tried to introduce extra regulation through these CBO guidelines. And I know the FPV Freedom Coalition, they did a really good stream just the other day. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. They have basically said that their application to be a CBO has kind of been knocked back because it's not... The rules that they've presented obviously don't please the FAA. And if they don't introduce all the guidelines the FAA wants, they're not going to get CBO status. And that's unreasonable. The FAA is regulating by stealth, bypassing all the normal methods which involve consultation, issuing NPRMs, listening to people's feedback. No, they can simply say, if we want a new rule, the CBOs have to include it or they're not a CBO. Unbelievable. So there goes your democracy and your freedoms in the USA. I'm sorry. So there you go. Do not be tempted. If you're out bando bashing, do not be tempted to race a friend if one of you or both of you are using any more than 4S battery packs because you will be in breach of the regulations and risking severe penalties and fines. You couldn't make this up. You really couldn't make this up. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you to the people that support me on Patreon because you enable me to look into the finer details of these things, which are really important. And to highlight the folly that is the massive regulatory overreach of what has proven to be one of the safest hobbies ever, and most certainly the safest branch of aviation. I should remind everybody at the time I make this video on the 2nd of December 2022, the death toll associated with the recreational use of multi-rotor drones remains at 0. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Oh, do the comments with you. Tell me what you think of this. This has to... And spread the video around so people can see just how bad things are getting. You probably didn't realize this, but it's really, really bad now.
Overregulation is like a tumor. It's killing our hobby. It must be terminated. Now!